Hey travelers, Chris and I slow travel all over the world, but we also maintain a home base that we come back to each year. But there's this lure, this really appealing idea of giving up everything so that we can travel full time. And we've set up our lives so that we have the option to do that if we wanted to. But we choose to combine a slow travel lifestyle with a home base instead of full time travel. Here's what no one tells you about full time travel and why we don't do it. Before we get into why we don't full-time travel, let's talk about what it is. To us, full-time travel is when you're always traveling to a new place. You might still be slow traveling, but you don't maintain a home base and you're often going to new and unfamiliar locations. I think a lot of people romanticize this lifestyle and they don't put a lot of thought into the downsides that no one really likes to talk about. But before we get too far into this video, I want to give a shout out to all those full-time travelers out there. This video is not about putting down your lifestyle or saying that it's not a good choice. I think that what you are doing is amazing. Maybe I'm a bit envious of your lifestyle, and I hope that you're able to keep doing it for as long as you love it. But there are a lot of videos out there talking about full-time travel and giving up everything you own to see the world. And for many of us, this can be a really big leap. I've noticed that a lot of people who have given up everything and sold all their stuff to travel full time really only do that for a few years. After that, they find a home base and they adjust their travel schedules so that they can be home too. And maybe you're one of those travelers that used to travel full time, but then you switch things up a bit to get a lifestyle that really works for you. There are other groups of travelers who don't have a permanent home, but they often travel back to the same places that they are familiar with. They may alternate between 2, 3, or 4 cities each year, and they keep going back there because they're familiar with the surroundings and they have friends over there. They know the neighborhoods, where they want to rent an apartment, and where their favorite restaurants are. They can still travel to new places, but they keep going back to their favorite spots in between. It can still be considered full-time travel, but it's maybe not quite what you envisioned when you first heard about the lifestyle. There's a reason why full-time travelers tend to end up with a home base or go back to familiar surroundings regularly. And that's because continuously traveling to new places all the time can get really tiring. And it's pretty hard to make friends when you're never in the same place. And even things like getting consistent medical and dental care becomes near impossible if you're not returning to the same place regularly. And when full-time travel becomes your daily life, you might start to miss out on the joy that travel brings. Maybe you've traveled a lot and have gotten accustomed to seeing new, beautiful places all the time. You may start taking that for granted and stop seeing the beauty in the places you're visiting. When that starts to happen, it's good to take a break so that you don't become blind to the beautiful experiences that travel has to offer. When full-time travelers return to the same place year after year or end up with a home base, they're looking for consistency in their surroundings and giving themselves time to recenter themselves before heading out again. For Chris and I, we chose to combine a slow travel lifestyle with a home base that we come back to year after year so that we can balance having a familiar place with our love of travel. And we feel like this gives us the best of both worlds. We're able to see new places without feeling rushed while maintaining the stability of having a permanent home. You may have seen in some of our other videos that Chris and I are volunteer emergency management responders. And when we get done a tough deployment, having a cozy and comfortable home to decompress in really helps our mental health. There are some downsides to being away from our home base for extended periods each year, but we'll save those for another video. No lifestyle is perfect, so it's really about finding what works best for you in your specific circumstances. While we love discovering new places, taking a break from that to reset in a familiar location is so important to us. And those are some of the things we feel that people don't like to talk about when they talk about full-time travel, and why we chose a part-time slow travel lifestyle instead. We hope you're doing well, and we'll see you in our next video.